One of my favorite things to eat in the whole world is smoked meat. And today, my friends at Shepherd's Song Lamb and Goat Meat in Downing, Wisconsin, are sponsoring this video all about how to take a leg of lamb or goat or venison and smoke it and have it taste good and have it be nice and perfect rosy pink, just like that. And we're going to be using the whole leg here. If you are using a lamb leg, it might already come wrapped in butcher's twine, kind of a netting. This is like a hogget leg, and it's from a sheep that's over a year old, so it's a little bit larger. It's going to be more similar to venison. And what we're going to do, we're going to take out the H bone first. That's AITCH, kind of like part of the hip. And then after that, we have to find the femur. Number of ways you could do this. I like to open it up like a book, and we're just exposing that bone in there. All we want to do is expose the bone. And again, this is the same thing for goat, lamb, or venison. Just get in there with a knife and kind of follow the natural muscle seams and open that thing up. And because this leg is big, we're not really going to be able to just wrap it back up. We're actually going to have to split it into a few pieces. So get that bone out, save that for some stock. That's great. Now you can see it's kind of uneven, the meat that we have. If it's smaller, it's easier to wrap back up. So I'm actually going to cut that into two different roasts because that one right there we can wrap and tie rather into a cylinder. Okay, the next thing, this is my personal preference and I definitely recommend it. We're going to trim basically as much of the fat from the leg as possible. And goat, lamb, and venison all have fats of a similar consistency, which is to say they have a kind of a high melting point, which means that you really have to have it hot for it to be liquid. It can taste kind of like chapstick. So just get a good amount of the fat off, and then we're going to season it with salt and a little bit of a dry rub. And this is super important because the salt is going to dry out the meat. And you can do this after you tie it too. I want some seasoning on the inside and the outside, but this is going to dry the meat out because we're going to leave it in the fridge overnight. We're going to season it overnight. This is called a dry brine. That's going to help the smoke adhere to the meat, and it's just going to be way better. Basically, anytime I cook meat, especially if it's going to be smoked or roasted, it's going to be seasoned beforehand. Now we're just going to take some butcher's twine, and we're going to tie this guy. This actually took me like 2 tries to get it right, and you're going to see it's not perfectly lined up, but it doesn't matter. All you need to do is hold the shape. They also make pre-made nets like this that you can buy. Just go on Amazon. Tie that thing up, get it nice and tight. And the other leg, I'm not even going to roll like that. I'm just going to smoke it. And you can see it's a little off-center or kittywampus, but it's totally fine. And from there, all we're going to do is wrap those in cling film and let them sit overnight. Take those out, and now we're going to oil them a little bit, and the oil is really helpful too. Now we get the smoker ready, and we just put these guys on the smoker, and I'm going to cook it at about 200 to 225, and what we're shooting for here is in the thickest part of the meat, I want it to be about 140. And some people will say, oh, you want like 135 for lamb? No, you don't. You want lamb to be like rested medium. Lamb and goat, I don't like to eat rare or wiggly, and most diners and your friends and family won't want to eat it like that either. When the lamb is done, take it out of the smoker. Look at how nice and burnished that looks. I love that. I got a really good rub for this. We're going to let that, and I'll put the rub in the comments, the link to it, rather. We're going to let this sit for 10 minutes per pound, let it rest in like a warm oven that's turned off, and that's what I want to see. I want to see it nice and pink. You can see it's got a good smoke ring. I probably could have even let this rest for a little bit longer because I can see there's still a little bit of juice coming out of it, but that's nice. So when that is cooled down, it's going to be great for sandwiches or just put it onto a plate and eat it like a roast, but it's going to be good warm, it's going to be good cold or left over. This is great smoked lamb, goat, venison, whatever you want. Once again, Thanks to Larry and Judy at Shepherd's Song. And there's a link in the video description for the full recipe and method.